So, Austin, I'm sure you've had a ton of meetings. You've been going over this, but
Yeah.
perfect. So my people told me that we need to talk and to go over the lease agreements. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to, before we get into all the things, um, obviously we came to you because of your reputation. You guys got a lot of stores. You're a very high quality store, and you really drive a lot of volume into your stores. That's why we came to you first. Just you're our top candidate. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been this far in the negotiation.
Great.
We'd really like this to, because of you guys, we want this to really benefit you, as well as just having you guys with us is going to benefit us.
Right.
When we first came to you and when you've gone over this, what are the, I guess, why are you guys interested in getting in the Merrimack Mall? Why us? I'm sure you have other options, but what are the real big pros for your company to get into this location?
It's just a good location. We've got stores relatively close to the area, but we kind of want to try out the mall setting and just see how that works for a discount.
Have you tried mall settings before?
We've tried it in the past, but not for nearly as a long-term contract of the one that we're looking at now, 25 years.
Yeah.
So
have your contracts been more around like the 10-year time frame?
Yeah, it just varies.
Cool. So definitely location. What's some other things why you guys want to partner up with us and get into the mall?
That's really one of the biggest ones, just trying out this demographic, seeing how it works, and if it's been, if it turns out to be successful like it has in the past, maybe move forward with it in some other locations as well.
Cool. We're excited. We want to get this to work.
We want this to work too.
Yeah.
Our guys have been good with the negotiations up to now. But I'll tell you, if we can't come to an agreement on this, if we can't get the freedom that we think that we deserve as the big player you're telling us that we are, then we're just not going to be a good fit.
Perfect. So we definitely want to give you the freedom you deserve, but also without taking away all the freedom from us.
Right.
Our biggest concern, and I know you can relate with this being a VP, how long have you been in like the soft goods grocery settings?
About 15 years.
Yeah. So if you had a product that directly competed with another product and it cannibalized your sales, is it kind of a no-brainer to you got to let go of one of the products? You don't want to ever be working against each other, right? We just want to make sure that this relationship is a good fit for you as well as us. Our biggest concern with the Article 22 is it takes away all our power to basically make sure our business is run so it's profiting not only us, but our tenants, not only our anchor tenants, but our satellite tenants. So I wanted to go over kind of what your needs are, the whole reason you went into Article 22, what you guys need out of there, other than just freedom to do whatever, and share with you our needs.
Great. Curtis, more than anything, we want to be able to have at least a fourth of the premises to be able to use as we see fit for complementary vendors.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, take for example, Macy's. They often do this with like Sephora makeup.
Yeah.
So we're looking to do the same thing. We've done it in the past with Rachel Ray, where we've had a corner of the store, about a fourth of it, like I mentioned,
right?
That we have bringing in name brands like Rachel Ray for our houseware and things like that. And we want the freedom to be able to do that. That's a deal breaker for us.
Yeah.
Also, it's very, very unlikely that this is going to happen. But if discount doesn't perform in the way that we're forecasting and hoping, we want control over being able to sell the lease. And the reason being is, if there's multiple parties and I've got to go up some chain of command to sell the lease, I can do it in a week to a month. Right. But if there's more parties involved and it takes me 6 months, that's $1 million that I'm losing.
So basically, if this becomes not a good fit for you guys, you need to be able to get out.
Exactly. If we're under a financial thumb, I need the control to get out of that as quickly as possible.
Perfect.
Another thing is, we are we're sticking mainly to soft goods. That's that's our business model. That's what we've been for a while. But we are looking into some goods that fall just a little shy of the soft goods spectrum. For example, right now we're looking into small household appliances like mini fridges,
Yeah.
apartment washer and dryer, things like that. And it's important to us that we be able to stray from that traditional soft goods a little bit.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because we've got over 200 stores.
Yeah.
We want to be able to test those products in different regions, different locations before we launch it out nationally. And we think that this location is relatively good to test some things out, and we want the flexibility to do so.
But I completely understand, because diversifying mitigates your risk. And you guys are taking a big risk coming in here with this larger lease. And so I talked to my guys. I think the biggest thing that my maybe team missed is the vision of both of our parties. We're taking, I mean, this is our first time taking a big project. This is our baby.
Right.
The Merrimack Mall is our biggest project we have. And so, of course, we went after you guys because we're like, who do we need to help? Who do we need to have help us get our baby to be successful? And I think it's unfair for us to ask you guys to kind of not diversify yourself, chain yourselves down, and not be able to adapt and overcome what maybe the market might do in order to help your store and help us.
Right. No, I agree. I appreciate that. You're able to see that.
So let's just get right to the chase, because I actually went over it and saw some things that if I was in your shoes, I would have been like,
Right.
oh, absolutely not. Your guys' basically clause was pretty good. It was so open, I think it scared my team. So they were just worried they were losing control. I want to give you the things that you're asking for under the parameters. Here's why I can go with your complete open. We can use it for anything, and we can lease it out to anybody. We don't want our mall to become like a storage unit, which we've seen some malls where if something doesn't work out, they use that space to just kind of dump stuff in, or like, here's this company that we really need to, it's not performing well, it's
Right.
not driving volume, but we'll put it there because we have a lease. And then, of course, you can make money on the lease by subdividing it out to other people.
Right.
The whole reason that your company has been a part of our vision is you were phenomenal at driving high volume sales. So if we can create a clause, which I've drafted up a thing where whatever changes you make, if they can basically perform to the high volume, drive people to the stores like the makeup companies do. I mean, the whole reason my wife and I will go in to get one thing and we end up walking through the mall and getting 3 or 4 things.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. That's what we need. So as long as we can meet those high volumes and then also attract the satellite companies. I know because you guys are such a big player in the market, you're not way concerned with smaller companies directly competing against you. But in a mall setting with satellite companies, if a satellite company started selling one of your top products but a little cheaper, it would be a problem. Right. For you guys, right?
Right, and
And we feel like it would be the same if you guys were selling competing. So we'd want some sort of non-compete clause where you can actually go, okay, I'm a satellite company. We're in this mall. You guys sell Mary Kay or whatever. We're not going to sell anything that directly competes with that, and vice versa. We don't want to cannibalize our business and have the satellite tenants versus
right
being the
and
anchor.
We get that. We understand that the setting of having a location in a mall is going to be different than just in a shopping center, and we don't want to squash the little guy. Discount started as a little guy. Everyone does. So I'll tell you what. If you can get me at least a quarter of the premises that I can use how I see fit, as far as subletting to
Yeah.
complementary vendors, then I will bring you personally or a member of your team on board when I am interviewing these vendors and making sure that they're going to be a good fit for discount. That way you can get a feel for them. You've mentioned a little bit of the setting and the mood that you guys want to keep for them all, so you can see that in that interview, and you could also see the products that they're going to be selling for us.
Cool.
That way you can see that they're not going to be in too much of direct competition with the satellite tenants. Is that something that works for you guys?
That works for us.
Perfect.
That's perfect. How do you feel about the non-compete? Pretty straightforward. That's
Yeah,
basically what you described.
I can't guarantee that there's not going to be some products that might slightly compete, but we can make it so it's
Direct.
not.
I'm not talking about indirect competition. I'm talking about direct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I think that we can work with.
Perfect.
And being able to introduce some products that fall outside the soft goods realm, that's something that is important to us, just because we are kind of thinking about branching out, like I mentioned, with the mini fridges and whatnot. Is that something that's going to be an issue? Because that is really important to us.
Tell you what, I want you to look at this.
Okay.
How do you feel about we just throwing that whole parameter of you only selling soft goods out the window? I think it's garbage.
Sure.
What I was thinking, and I actually took this and drafted it up from your guys' proposition. Right. Our biggest concerns were we were going to lose control and not be able to drive people, and basically high volume. Okay, we were concerned about not having high volume driven to our mall and having you directly compete with our other tenants.
Right.
So what this says is the tenant, you guys may use the hereby demised premises for any lawful purpose within the bounds and in accordance to the set non-compete clause and customer volume performance criteria clause, which states. So basically it's saying you can use it for any lawful purpose,
right?
Whatever, as long as no tenants both anchor or satellite, so you don't directly compete and the satellite doesn't compete against each other in goods and services. And then customer volume performance criteria, we just want to make sure that our anchor tenants, which is you guys right now, must operate and promote products and services that create high customer volume. Any changes in operations must fit in accordance to the high customer volume quota. And we haven't set a quota, but I'm interested, how do you guys, I guess, measure your performance of, all right, we want to bring this into our store. It needs to drive this many people there, otherwise it's out.
Right.
As long as we could kind of marry our high performance, basically marry our volume performance together, it would work for us.
Right. And I think the best way that I could answer that is we're going to stick mainly towards soft goods. That's the business model we got.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to introduce a handful of products maybe at a time that's going to fall outside that soft goods, because
perfect. You're going to test it.
Right. Having those mini fridges and stuff, that's not going to bring in a high volume amount of customers. But because 75 or more % of our business model is going to stay on the soft goods, that's just going to be something, a high price ticket
as
item.
Long as you guys stay at that high volume that's being driven, and you have some margin where these fridges aren't working for us, they won't work for them all. Perfect.
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
And then we're giving you anchor tenant may assign or sublet part of these premises up to a fourth of the leased square footage to any vendor that operates within these same bounds. And then if the anchor tenant does so, you shall remain liable and responsible for the lease, which is within yours.
Sure. Nope, that makes total sense to me.
Does that look like it will benefit both our parties a bit more than those basic skeleton ones?
I definitely think so. And I think the only other thing that I'd like to tag on there would be just the fact that we would have the ability to sell the lease if we needed to, if we're under a financial burden, because we're just not getting the revenue that we need to be successful.
We could completely agree to that if, like you stated before, bring one of us in so that we're involved in the interview process, so we have somebody that's similar caliber.
I can do that.
And I hope that day never comes, because I want this to benefit both of us.
Right.
Sound good, Austin?
That sounds great, Curtis.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.